Howdy y'all. I filmed the following over the last 2 weeks or so. I've edited it multiple times, so it's a little choppy and I apologize. It got a little long and it got a little more personal than I expected. But it is what it is, and yes, there's video. Well, car crash wouldn't be a car crash without video, right? So also, if you go down to the description and click the link, you can see where the car is at Copart. So I appreciate y'all watching, appreciate y'all subscribing. Viewer discretion advised. Well, if you clicked on the thumbnail, you probably saw that something bad happened. So on Sunday the 19th, at about 4:45 p.m. in the afternoon, I was taking the Corvette back to storage, and I wrecked it. And it was a kind of a freak accident. I still don't know exactly what happened, but I was lucky to walk away. The police officer told my wife at the hospital that he thought he was rolling up on a fatality. Like I said, I was taking the car back to storage, and on my way, storage unit is a mile from here, but I had to go. I was working on the dash and I had a couple bulbs out, so I went up to O'Reilly's, which is just up the street here. Well, first of all, it was a clear sunny day. I was going northbound on Preston Road, State Highway 289, and then I turned right onto Main Street and I just lost control of the car. I wasn't going that fast. I don't know what happened. Either my foot, big old feet here, got stuck between the gas and the brake, which has happened before with these shoes, that big old fat thing on the side and a 12.5 wides, and I've gotten stuck before, but it was like the car was on ice. I couldn't stop it. But I think I may have blown a tire too. But I hit the curb and I remember nothing after that. So what the witnesses said is that the car spun, it hit telephone pole guide wires, it flipped the car in the air like this and around like that and landed on the roof. Now witnesses said it flipped twice, but I think it was spiraling. So this is where I hit the curb. Slid up on the grass, ran over some kind of pole there, and the back of the car was sideways and it clipped those two lines. They had yellow things covering them, and the car flipped in the air here at some point. I think it may have tapped the pole and it landed upside down facing the other way with the rear end hit the tree. I remember hitting the curb and that's it, nothing else. Next thing I remembered was being in the ambulance, looking out as they closed the door, and I saw the car, but I didn't know it was upside down, and I asked them to call my wife. And then I don't remember anything else after that. I don't remember the trip to the hospital. I have full memory from the time I entered the hospital room and saw my wife. And kind of freaked out because I really didn't know what happened at that point. When the police called her, she almost didn't answer the phone because she thought it was spam. And she thought I was on the scooter because I ride this goofy little scooter we call the Super Chicken. I ride that back and forth, and she thought I had a crash in that, and the police officer said no, he flipped the Corvette, and then she freaked out. And she met me at the hospital. But apparently, when the police officer rolled up, what he told my wife is that I was standing next to the car. He thought I was a bystander, and they were all saying, no, that was a guy in the car. So apparently I was able to, well, not apparently, I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, there's video. No, anyway, so I was squeezing out of the car, and apparently somebody opened the door, and I was able to get out. And I don't remember any of it. not a thing. I remember hitting the curb clear as day, but nothing else. Why am I doing this? Well, because kind of haven't dealt with it yet, and maybe this is a way to deal with almost dying. You know how they always say your life plays like a movie in front of you when you almost, you know, that D word. Well, mine didn't. My family's did. My sons and their beautiful new girlfriends, Bill and Dylan, and my beautiful wife of almost 33 years. And my friends, that's what went through my mind in the hospital. So like I said, I don't know, talking about it this way, it kind of helps me. I mean, all these things go through your mind. It's like, okay, I'm sitting there, does my wife know how to get in my computer? Does she know where all the tax information is? All this shit goes through your head like that because it's all the stuff that you don't really think about on a daily basis. So this could happen to you at any moment. So check your safety equipment. Hug your spouse or significant other. Hug your kids. Hug your dogs. Because you just never know. There's just, I mean, when you see this video, it happens so quick. You can't fathom that. You know, I thought I was, you know, okay. I started getting really sore a couple days after. The only thing I had a couple cuts, little minor cuts. Had a really good concussion. Kind of still have it. I'm still sore here and here. I put a huge dent in the door panel of the car. And then about 3 days afterwards, my knee started really bothering me. And it's 7 p.m. and tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. I have an MRI. The initial X-ray, the doctor said, well, you either got a problem with your meniscus or your ACL or maybe both. And it's weird because standing doesn't hurt that much. It's sitting and laying down, I'm in constant pain. In fact, they gave me 600 milligrams of ibuprofen, I guess, and that gave me all kinds of weird dreams. And in fact, I didn't tell my wife this. I told her one, this was last week, that I had a funny dream and I actually woke up laughing, and that was really good, really. I still remember the dream, it was pretty comical. But the night before, I had a nightmare. It was in the car, but not the Corvette. It was weird. I was driving a car and I went off like an embankment into water, and I was upside down in water and I couldn't get out. It was a black sedan. I think I saw something about the Kennedys the night before, and I don't know, maybe it was 68 Delta 88, I don't know. But it was horrifying, and I couldn't breathe, and you know, I woke up and I was under my damn pillow and stuff like that. It was just, you just don't understand what things like this do to you. It's bizarre. Get out there and hug your family and your friends and check your car. Check your car. I think I may have blown the left rear tire because it was peeled off the rim. I mean, we'll get to the pictures here in just a second, just how bad. The car is completely destroyed. Every corner of the car is destroyed. And I wasn't even going that fast. I think they estimated maybe about 32 miles an hour. It's a 45 to a 55 mile an hour road there. But I had just made a right turn and crashed. I had new tires and brakes and shocks and everything on the car that I put on last year. The things that when I bought the car, I looked at the Carfax and it had an open recall for the seatbelt. And the seatbelt when I bought the car was broken. It did not work. It didn't retract, it didn't latch, it didn't lock, it didn't do anything. And I drove the car around like that for over a year. I just put it across my lap, and last fall I decided, you know, this is stupid. So I bought brand new seatbelts for the car and put it in there. And that saved my life. There's no way I would have made it if I had still had that broken seatbelt in there. I would have been thrown out of the car. The car did its job. The factory roll bar, it didn't even break the rear hatch. I mean, the factory roll bar did its job. The A-pillar, GM should have done a little bit more work on that, Jesus. Had there been anybody in the passenger seat, they probably wouldn't have made it. Just how lucky I was that the car came down on its roof on the passenger side, not the driver's side, because I wouldn't have made it. I don't think I would have. So again, all that I am dealing with right now, I had a sore neck, a couple cuts. I don't even have a bruise. I don't even have much of the seatbelt bruise is already gone. You know, is my knee, because I probably smacked my knee into the door panel. I mean, the door panel was just toast. So here are the pictures of the car. Losing the car is hard too, because it wasn't just a car. Now maybe many of you think it's just a car, but it wasn't just a car. It was a pretty special car. If you saw my other video, it you know, it was built the second day of production for the 1991 model year. It was ordered by and delivered to GM, not a dealer. And then somebody did something with it at GM for a year and 3 months. I still don't know, and never will. You know, it was the Lingenfelter on it. The wheels were 18-inch OZs put on the car in the 90s from a Lotus Esprit Turbo, and I mean, it just had this look to it that was so cool. And you know, you think about it, it's like the car's been around for, you know, 32 years. I think of all the things that it's seen in 32 years. I don't know. It's that's kind of a hard thing to deal with, and it was. Even after all these years, it was such a beautiful car, and I just cleaned it and washed it. I mean, look at it gleaming. All right, all cleaned up. Mud's gone from the car show. Kind of an oxymoron, isn't it? But it looks good. It needs to be waxed. Needs the front bumper painted. But it looks pretty good. Anyway, yeah, it's pretty hard. I debated going back and forth and doing this, but I had the GoPro running in the car, and the reason I had that is because I was kind of trying to fix it. I had done some other driving video with the car earlier, and there's no sound. It's all garbled. Well, I come to the conclusion that GoPro got wet. I bought it used on Facebook Marketplace, and it cuts out all the time, and there's just really no sound. So I thought maybe I'd change a couple of parameters on it, and but it's kept cutting out and everything. So I just put it in there, just driving. I was going to get some last minute, you know, driving. I was trying to get, you know, engine sounds, because I was going to use that for an overdub, and actually kind of forgot I had it running in there. I went to O'Reilly's, and it was still running, but it went off and on, off and on, off and on. Warning, this is pretty intense. So there's really no blood except for here in my hand. But viewer discretion advised, right? There's no sound. Like I said, it was just garbled. So I just deleted it. It was just sounded like Charlie Brown talking to his teacher. So here it is. You can kind of see where I passed out, and there's another 6 to 8 minutes of video here that me kind of struggling to get out. I'm not going to post that, and then I slid out after somebody opened the door. It's just a blink of an eye, right? And I wouldn't be here. So what I'm going to do, you may not want to watch this, but I had to do it this way just to try and get this in my head on what happened. I still think, here's the back tire. It peeled it off the rim. But that side of the car didn't hit the curb. I mean, well, it would have, but it would have probably been in the air at that point. So, and it didn't hit the guide wire. So I think I blew a tire. I mean, the car just, it was like it was on ice. It just nothing, no control. So here it is in slow motion. So yeah, it's this is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, but and I feel a little bit better doing this just because I haven't talked to anybody about it yet. I mean, I don't think my wife really watches my videos too often, but some of her friends do. They giggle. It's just I haven't been able to really. I haven't really been able to talk about it yet. So I know it just looks like, you know, you walked away for the most part, and you're fine. You should be fine. No, it's a lot more than that. I mean, just if the car had shifted just a little bit and landed on the driver's side, I really don't think I made it. You know, another thing is that when I bought the car, the seller had the glass roof for it, and I didn't want the glass roof. It's Texas. I don't want to bake in the sun. I just didn't want it, and it was another $900 that he wanted for it. So I was like, no. That just would have sliced me all to hell. As it was, I was like, grass everywhere when the fiberglass top blew up. But you know, had I landed in the street instead of on that muddy grass, I may not have made it. You know, the other thing is that had I not hit those guide wires, I would have gone head on to that telephone pole. Who knows if a 32-year-old airbag still works. I mean, those cars were built pretty dang well, but it would have been a lot worse, you know, head-on collision with a telephone pole. So there's all these different things that go through your head about. It sounds like it's just a simple thing, you know, people get in car crashes every day, but maybe not like this, I don't know. But thanks for listening, I appreciate it. And yeah, so what's next? Well, I was a dumbass this past weekend. My son helped me, Dylan. But I moved the truck over to storage because Corvette's gone, and the Chevelle is right behind the camera here, and if you saw some of my other videos, you saw that I was planning on thrashing on the car all next week to get it as finished as I can. I was going to start on the suspension, brakes, and all that. I am going to do some of that work next week, but I now have some things I got to take care of because of this, and doctor's appointments, and I don't know what's going to happen here, and it's kind of hard to move around, get under the car, and that kind of stuff. Like I said, I'm in a lot of pain with certain movements. So keep watching. We'll see what happens, and I really appreciate y'all, subscribing and watching this. Thank you. I'm still here, so there's still going to be some crazy stuff. Just I'm not going to wreck any more cars. Boys, I love you. Y'all be safe.